So I read a few comments from the last episode of Setup Wars, and you guys thought I was shooting these videos from a jail cell. It's not a jail cell, okay? This is my new home. It's one of the bedrooms I've converted into a temporary YouTube studio until I can work on my main YouTube studio downstairs. That will take about 3 to 4 months. But I'm sorry guys, okay? This is it. This is all I have to work with right now. Please deal with it until I can spice it up a little bit. I don't want to mount anything on the wall because you guys saw the last setup tour video where I took apart all the metal leaf panels and then it was just a complete mess. I don't want to go through that again with this one if I'm just going to move after 3 or 4 months. But I do want to still kind of do something nice in the background. So I picked up one of those super popular queso, whatever the hell you call it, RGB tubes. And holy hell guys, $750 for this damn thing. For one of them. I thought I was getting 2 for the price. I saw the number 2 on the product name and I assumed I was getting 2, but when I opened up the box, a piece of my soul just disintegrated. I paid $750 freaking dollars for one freaking tube, dude. Anyways, now it just looks weird having only one on that side. I'm a man of symmetry. I would love to have 2, but I do not want to spend another $750 freaking dollars on an RGB tube. I hope that's okay with you guys, okay? But other than that, I did order some acoustic panels. Those are coming. I will soundproof this room so the audio will sound crispier. I can promise you that much. But anyways, holy crap, this is a very long intro. Welcome to Setup Wars episode 279. We got another banger episode for you guys. If you want to be a part of the show, watch the video link down below. But with that said, sit back and relax. Maybe with some tea or coffee, because you know what time it is. I live in an area where it rains a lot and I'm not able to wear any of my comfortable shoes because water gets through them and my socks get wet. So it makes it really difficult for me to do my daily walks and errands. But with my Vessi sneakers, who is also kind enough to sponsor today's video, I don't have to worry about that. These are 100% waterproof and snowproof, which is crazy to say considering how lightweight and comfortable these feel. Vessi sneakers are also made out of Dymatex, which keeps you cool in the summer and warm in the winter. But I gotta say, my favorite shoe from Vessi has to be their Everyday Move, which also has been launched recently on their website. Because not only is this extremely light and comfortable, but also has this really cool, sportier look, which kind of fits my style. To be honest, I don't go out without them. I wear them all the time when I'm doing errands or my daily evening walks. But honestly, I wear them whenever I go out because they are stylish too. I think you guys will really like these sneakers. And if you wanna grab a pair, now is the best time because you can get $25 off your Vessi shoes by using my link below and putting in the code TechSource. Kicking off the episode is a couple setup by Abel and Sarah. They are both small business owners by day and YouTubers by night who wanted to build a setup where they can do everything together, from gaming to streaming, graphic design, and content creation for their YouTube channel. Usually when you do a side-by-side setup like this, symmetry is extremely important. So I'm really glad to see that both setups are very symmetrical to each other. In fact, most of the gear in both setups are practically identical. So the setup is built on a massive 98-inch car bleed from IKEA with a few Alex units underneath for support and storage. Both setups are rocking a 25-inch 280Hz monitors as the main display with a 24-inch 165Hz in vertical mode for multitasking and reading chat. And then we have a shared 55-inch TV up top that's used for watching videos and movies. We got the same peripherals and mouse pads on both sides. Both of them are rocking a Naga Hex mouse and a custom DZ60 keyboard with banana split switches. Hell, even the audio gear is the same. We got 2 Shure SM7Bs on the same boom arm and 2 Virtuosos hanging underneath the desk. You know, I love the consistency here and the amazing attention to symmetry, but I gotta say I'm a bit disappointed that most of the gear is the same. And the reason why I say that is because a setup is supposed to be unique. It's supposed to represent you and your personality. So copying and pasting the gear in both setups eliminates any and all personality. Like I didn't even know which setup belonged to who if it wasn't for the color of the PC case. Of course, this is just my opinion. Maybe both of you have the same personality and like the same things. That's okay. By all means, do what makes you happy. I'm just here to tell you it's okay to change things up and still keep the setup symmetrical. I am happy to see two different builds, however. Sarah has an 8700K paired with an EVGA GTX 1080, while Abel is rocking the 10700K and the MSI RTX 2080. Both systems are built inside the awesome in-win D-Frame Mini with excellent cable management underneath the desk. When they are not at the setup, they are relaxing on the bed watching anime from their drop-down projector. How cool. Such an epic couple's gaming setup and room. Thank you, Abel and Sarah, for starting off the show. Going back to single and lonely setups, we got Hunter from Michigan, USA, who is a high school sophomore. Hunter was actually featured in episode 42 of Setup Montage, and oh boy, has he made some really nice upgrades. He completely ditched the black and red setup and went with an all-white theme instead. Nice choice. It looks like he also picked up a new desk. We got the Linman and Alex Jor combo with some capital eggs. The setup is used primarily for gaming and entertainment, and he does all that on both of his 24-inch Scepter monitors. He did keep his Logitech G Pro keyboard, but he upgraded his Razer mouse to the Logitech G703 and picked up some new audio gear as well. The Go Groove soundbar is the main source of audio for the setup, while the Arctis 7s are mainly for gaming. There's also a mic setup as well, but he tucks it away behind the monitors when they are not in use. And honestly, I couldn't even tell he had a mic setup if it weren't for some of these pictures. Powering the setup is the same PC, but with some upgraded components. It's still using the same CPU and GPU, but it looks like he upgraded the cooler and some of the fans. I remember giving your last setup a 4 out of 5 for cable management, but now it's a solid 5. You really have come a long way from your last setup submission, and it makes me so happy to see all of these changes you have made. Thank you, Hunter, for coming back on the show. Coming in number 3 is Jeremy and his extremely clean laptop-powered productivity setup that took him only 3 hours to put together. He doesn't do any gaming on here, unfortunately, but he does spend most of his time chilling and listening to music. That sounds like a vibe. We got another Carl Lee and Alex unit combo with some capital eggs, and right above that, a single 32-inch curved monitor from Samsung that he does everything on, and a separately powered 40-inch TV up top for watching TV shows and movies. It's pretty obvious he is really into music, judging by his audio gear. In addition to the 2 desktop speakers, he also has a pair of Tannoy bookshelf speakers and a sub for that crispiness of sound, as he calls it. It looks like the audio gear is where most of the budget from the setup went to, and since he doesn't really game or do anything serious, he decided to save money from the peripherals by going with a basic Amazon keyboard and mouse combo. You know, sometimes it's okay to spend most of the budget on certain parts of the setup that you plan on using the most, whether it's audio because you like listening to music, or maybe even a custom keyboard because you love the way it sounds. It's better to settle for a few items and to get the gear you always wanted than to split the budget equally and settle for all the gear for your setup, if that makes any sense. Anyways, this was such a cool laptop setup by Jeremy. Thank you for sharing this with us. Up next is Johan, who has been on the show a few years back, but can't remember which episode exactly. Regardless, he has upgraded his setup quite a bit and decided to resubmit to show off his awesome ultra-wide setup. I do like the layout of the desk. It's quite different than what we normally see on the show. He decided to go with an L-shaped design, but this is the correct way of doing it. I've always seen people put an Alex unit in the corner for support, completely blocking off the drawers. But here, Johan used a few triangle brackets instead to support the main tabletop so that he is able to comfortably put the Alex unit on the outside. He does everything on a single Samsung G9 Odyssey monitor that he mounted against the wall, covered with those 3D art panels and a bit of lighting to make them pop. For peripherals, he kept things clean with a Ducky 1.2 Mini and a Model O wireless mouse, both in white, which stands out nicely against the black. In fact, he did a pretty good job staying consistent with the white on black color scheme. We got white speakers from Argon with some black accents. He's also got a white gaming headset from SteelSeries and even a white on black custom water-cooled PC inside the Thermaltake distro case. This thing is a beast with a Ryzen 9 5950X, 64 gigs of RAM, and the Asus Strix 3090, all water-cooled. And when he's not using the setup, he is kicking back watching videos or movies on his TV. I am loving the vibes here. Such a clean setup by Johan. Thank you very much for coming back on the show, my guy. Wrapping up the episode is Jordan from Belgium and his super cozy gaming and editing setup that took him about 5 months to complete. He built it on a Carly countertop with some Alex units, but he left an edge in the front so that he can add an RGB strip for a bit of accent lighting. It actually turned out really good. We do have ourselves a TIE Fighter monitor layout with a 240Hz in the middle as the main display and two 24-inch Dell monitors in vertical mode. I like this monitor layout a lot because not only does it save the most space on your desk compared to an Infinity display, but you can also use the extra space underneath the main monitor to keep some of your most used accessories or gear for easy access. For peripherals, he's got a really nice keyboard and mouse combo. The Durga Taurus K320 and a Model O wireless in black. Fits the theme of the setup really nicely. Speaking of which, it's also nice to see some wood accents from the speakers to match the countertop. If you really want to sell that wood look, I feel like you gotta naturally incorporate it in other areas of your setup. Aside from the speakers, he does own a pair of DT 1990 Pros that is hooked up to his Fosse DAC. And then finally, we got a Shure SM57 mic on a boom arm that's mounted behind the monitors for a cleaner look. Cables are perfectly managed behind all the monitors and underneath the desk, so I have no complaints. But interestingly enough, he decided to keep his PC on the floor. Jordan knew he could have made space for it on the desk, but if he were to keep it on there, it would have messed with the symmetry and the aesthetics of this setup. So he had to make a sacrifice. As heartbreaking as it is keeping your beautiful creation on the floor, sometimes you gotta make the tough decisions to preserve the look of your entire setup. Especially if it's a powerful beast too. I mean, this thing is packing a 3900X and an RTX 3090. Wow. If I'm being honest, this does not look and feel like a setup that belongs to a 16-year-old. It seems more like an adult setup. From the color scheme to the gear choices and the decision to keep the PC on the floor are all something that most teens just don't do. And well, that's why I'm so impressed at this submission. Jordan, if you're watching this, you got some really good taste, my guy. Thank you for sharing this with us. As a reminder, you guys can always pick up a cheap Windows CD key for less than $15. Just click on my link below and use the code TS20 for an extra 20% off. Once you get your CD key, just visit the activation settings in Windows and change your product key. It's that simple. And that will do for today's video. As always, make sure you guys comment below. Let me know which of these setups was your absolute favorite. And if you guys are enjoying setup wars, as always, make sure to toss a like before you head out, as it does help out the channel a ton. If you guys are new here, consider subscribing because I do host setup wars every single Monday. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you very soon in the next one. That tea is cold as